Welcome to Poetry Changes Lives. Poetry, history, and a thought for the day, all in one book. What a bargain that is. Well, on this day in 1887, a lady called Annie Sullivan in America met a young girl called Helen Keller. Well, Helen Keller was quite famous in her time. She had been rendered deaf and blind by an illness that was possibly meningitis at the age of just 19 months old, deaf and blind. Annie Sullivan was a teacher who finally achieved a breakthrough working with Helen Keller, and the breakthrough happened when Keller felt running water over her hand and recognized the connection with the symbol, the sort of deaf and dumb language that Annie Sullivan was pressing into her other hand. And that happened in late 1880s, and by 1900, Helen Keller had learnt so much that she gained admittance as a student to Radcliffe College in America. She wrote several books later on and campaigned for the rights of disadvantaged people. And she lived to a good age of 87, dying only in 1968, which is not that long ago. She liked poetry. She loved it, in fact, and she said of poetry, "Great poetry, whether written in Greek or English, needs no other interpreter than a responsive heart." And I think that's rather a good way of looking at it. Well, the bond between Helen Keller and her mentor, Annie Sullivan, was unimaginably close. And when Annie Sullivan died in 1936, that was 30 years before Helen Keller was holding her hand. And today there are many statues, particularly in the United States, of Keller and Sullivan, and one bears the inscription, "The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart." And that's something that I suppose you really realize when you yourself can neither see nor hear. What an amazing example those two women were, Helen Keller and Annie Sullivan. Well, today I'm going to read a sonnet by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. It's from her Sonnets from the Portuguese, that famous book of sonnets she wrote. It was published, her husband got it published. He used to call her "my little Portuguese," though she wasn't Portuguese at all, she was English. But he thought, I suppose she looked like a Portuguese. I don't know. But this one of Elizabeth Barrett Browning Sonnets is about sort of the power of when two people work together and what they achieve. Here we are. When our two souls stand up erect and strong, face to face, silent, drawing nigh and nigher, until the lengthening wings break into fire at either curved point, what bitter wrong can the earth do to us that we should not long be here contented? Think, in mounting higher, the angels would press on us and aspire to drop some golden orb of perfect song into our deep, dear silence. Let us stay rather on earth, beloved, where the unfit, contrarious moods of men recoil away and isolate pure spirits, and permit a place to stand and love in for a day, with darkness and the death hour rounding it. Pretty good stuff, I think. Elizabeth Barrett Browning, she's a little bit, I don't know, too fond of long words maybe. For me, a little bit too Victorian, but very, very beautiful sentiments. And I hope I'm not offending anyone by criticizing such a great poet. She is pretty good, actually. Today, I will try and remember that new love, true love, consists of giving to others. Thank you for listening.